Hello. I feel like I'm doing a Star Wars episode in which I am creating these programming mathematical videos in a different sequential order or temporal order than they actually appear. So now we're preparing how to program in Python so that you can understand the code better that are presented in other parts of this learning uh, to program mathematical functions. This section gives a description of the minimal set of instructions to allow you to program. We use a small portion of Python to program our mathematical functions. The purpose of this section is to familiarize the novice programmer with the minimal information needed to do this. We start off with what I call branch instruction. These are instructions that end with a colon, and the next statements after that are indented for spaces. The reason I call them branch instructions is because they basically allow you to jump to another part of the program in order to execute your code. The first one is a defined function, which DEF is the keyword. You have the name of the function, and then other parameters that you're passing to that function. It's important to remember to put those colons there because it's an easy mistake to forget them. Next, also you indent for spaces. If you're doing the instructions in order, when you hit the return after the colon, it will automatically indent for you. For the while statement and if statements, we have different conditions that exist. An example of some of them are double equal sign when we want something to be equal. The reason for that is single equal sign means we're assigning a value to something. Greater than, less than, not equal, not greater than, not less than. Greater than or equal or less than or equal are an example of a number of these conditional operations. Okay, now we show a piece of code to illustrate all of these. And here we start off with our function or defined function, and that goes all the way down to the return statement. And basically it's terminated by this next line of code indents outward. And you'll notice the arrow that we put as loop. We also have while statements, which this one goes from here to here, and it is terminated by the x equal 3. This other while statement is terminated by the return statement. Okay, then we look at our code. This was if xi is less than 0 because we can't take the value of a negative number in real number space, so we return a value of 0. Then we assign the input to a, we put a scaling factor. And now we have a while sign, and this is terminated by this division, because if a is greater than 100, we keep dividing it by 100 until it's less than 100. And we keep count of this with the scaling factor, which we multiply by 10 because the square root of 100 is 10. This one is controlled by a counter, where we set I equals 0, and each time we increment it by adding 1 to this. One has to be careful for any kind of loop, because if we forget the counter, this can just loop forever and ever. And then we have to hit the Control C to cause a break in the program. Okay, and here we have made a mistake. We forgot to put the colon after the define statement after telling you how important it was. Okay, here is an example of the while statement. If we take e to the x, the power function, we see that it can be written by this power series, or it can be written with a summation notation, where we start I equal to 0 and keep increasing by 1 until we get to n. For the example of the e to the x notation, n adds up to be infinity, but for practical purposes, we take it until we exhaust the accuracy of the machine. And now we have starting parameters. We have an answer, which is going to hold the value of e to the x, and we have our counter. You'll notice that our counter goes through this loop n times, which we could set n as 10, 100, or whatever we feel factor. And xt, it represents the x. You'll notice we start the xt off at 1 because I equals 0, x to the 0 power is 1. And then each time after that, we take and increase f by 1. So it's going to start off at 0, 1, 2, and so on. And we divide xt, we multiply xt by x and divide it by f, and then store it in xt. And this has the factor problem of squaring or going from x squared to x cubed, etc., and going from 2 factorial, 3 factorial. We want to do this because we don't want to get our numbers too large. In the next one, we use an array to improve our accuracy. So over here, we show that we have an array. It's going to be 10 elements long, and we put 0 initially in each one of those. And then we go through the same thing, except this time we save those numbers rather than adding them to answer. And when we're finished, then we add them to answer in the reverse order. Okay, and the reason for that is that if we add the small numbers to big numbers, they get lost in the accuracy. But if we add small numbers to small numbers, we maintain a buildup which could influence the larger numbers. Okay, here is an example of the use of this statement where we're using example. We want to make all numbers that are negative and or less than 1 positive numbers greater than 1. So if a is less than 0, we change the sign. If a is less than 1, we invert it. Okay, and the hashtag sign is basically used to comment. That is non-executable code. Another example of the if statement is we have a switch here. We set it to 1, and we say if the switch is equal to 1, then we say prints set. If we had set the switch equal to 0, that would have turned the switch off. The format statement basically allows us to determine how much space we want for our numbers and the number of decimal spaces. So the first one says we're allowing 17 spaces for our number, and we're allowing 14 decimal spaces, and the F indicates the floating point number. The second one says we're going to add 10, we're going to allow 10 places for the number, and we're only interested in the integer portion of the number. And so we have an example there with x equal to 2.5, and we multiply x times x to square it. Except we made a mistake in there in that we were not consistent with what we were doing. And that is we format x so we get the integer part, which would give us 2. And then we format the x squared with the 17.4. And in the example we show 2.7 instead of 7.29. One of the things that you will learn to accept is that you're going to make mistakes, but the computer is going to tell them to you, and that you should then learn how to correct these mistakes. You'll note in the format statement, the percent is used twice, once in the defining of the statement, and then once in front of what we're using the format for. Going over a few arithmetic operations, the asterisk is used for multiplication instead of the x. The equal sign is the assignment value. So if we say x equals 3, we put a value of 3 into x. Doesn't mean that x is equal to 3 as in an algebraic expression. And the double equal sign is a comparison, which means we don't put the comparison value into it. So when we say x is x equal to 3, we don't make x 3, we just compare it. Integers are of unlimited size in Python. I've gone to 2,000 characters, but I haven't tried to find out I haven't been able to find out where the limit is. For floating point, the values of our numbers can lie between 10 to the minus 308 and 10 to the 308. The number 308 comes from the fact that 9 digits are used for the exponent, and if we go to base 10, we have to multiply it by 3.301, which is a logarithm of 2. And similarly, the number of accurate digits is 16, because if we take the 54 digits that are available for our number and multiply again by the log of 2, we get 16. We have shown you the minimal operations that allow you to understand the functions that we have programmed that follow from this direction. And thank you very much for your attention, and hope that this was very useful to you. Thank you very much.